handout, demanding that I pay the money that I work for. At least that's what you say. But what gives you that power? Who died and made you boss? I'm barely getting by today. I can't afford that loss. So if you don't show some legal obligation that I pay, put your hand back in your pocket.
Well, hello there. I'm Hartwell Broussard, and I welcome you to Help, the program with help and request for help. The reason help is needed is because America is in distress. If you notice in the background, the American flag is displayed upside down. When a flag is displayed upside down, it is done so as a distress signal. If you wish to confirm that, go to the United States Code, Title 36, Chapter 10, Paragraph 176A. My goal is to help you to understand why America is in distress. And hopefully you will do something to help get us out of this dire situation that we are in. For this program, I will be helping you by showing you part 4 of the video entitled Police State 2000, released by Alex Jones. But before going into that, I would like to mention that as I watch videos and read, I find things that are kind of interesting, so I jot them down on a piece of paper. Here is something I would like to read for you. When an elected official does something personally, God judges him personally. When an elected official does something publicly, God judges him and the people. In other words, if an elected official steals his neighbor's mowing machine, God will judge him personally. But if an elected official votes on a bill that further turns America into a police state, God judges the elected official and the people. That is, people like you and I. I want you to think hard about what I just said. I tell you what, let me read it again. Listen closely. When an elected official does something personally, God judges him personally. When an elected official does something publicly, God judges him and the people. If you are not doing anything about these tyrants in Washington, D.C. that's turning America into a police state, keep in mind that God is a just God. And now, I am going to help you to understand what a police state really is by showing you part 4 of this video entitled Police State 2000.
And again, you got the newspaper right across the street, won't even talk to us. About the reporter that allegedly had his camera stolen.
Judy Hayes.
Judy Hayes, Alex Jones, nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
What's your position here?
I'm the lieutenant in charge of the patrol division.
Oh, fantastic. All I want's like a 5 or 10 minute interview. Is there a place we can sit down and...
I'll answer a couple of questions for you, and
okay.
then I have to be on my way.
I understand everybody's busy, and I appreciate you doing this. Can you say your name for the record and then spell it?
My name is Judy Hayes, Judyyhayes.
Thanks a lot. We also make documentaries, by the way. We're told that Monday evening of this week, there was a Delta Force operation from Fort Bragg otherwise known as Army Special Operations Command. Can you tell us how many helicopters were involved?
I can tell you that Monday night there was a joint training session between the United States Army and the Kingsville Police Department. The Army was doing some sort of extraction type thing. They used 8 helicopters. Our training involved sealing off the area as if we were involved in taking care of a hazardous materials incident. So we were rerouting traffic and making sure that there was no civilian foot traffic in the area. So we got quite a bit of training in that area.
Did any of your SWAT team, or I see you have 2 officers look like they're SWAT trained, did they assist the Delta Force in any way?
The only participation on the part of the Kingsville Police Department was in a hazardous materials training session. We did not participate in any way with what the Army was doing.
Well, that's very helpful. We're also told that they were firing ceramic bullets.
I have no idea about anything that the Army was doing. It would be a situation in which you would need to contact them.
Well, yes, in Fort Bragg. Now, the mayor had stated, or his office had stated, that it was secret, but what y'all are saying is it was secret up to a point, and then the police department went around and actually warned the citizens in the immediate area downtown.
I have no idea where the word secret came from, and I'm not going to respond to that. All I can tell you is that we did plan with the Army on this in order to get our training for hazardous materials, and we did warn as many persons as possible in the immediate area, and then moving out until we had to take our positions in order to take care of traffic flow.
So actually, the night of the event, several hours previous to the 8 helicopters coming in, y'all did warn the general public in the area.
We most certainly did.
Are you familiar with the Chief of Police of San Antonio, L.A. Philippus?
No, I'm not.
The deputy chief is, and we're told the chief also knows him. I went down and did a breaking story back in May of '98 where he threw out the Delta Force, and I have him on tape. They attempted to bribe him. They endangered public safety. Many areas have let Delta train, but are you aware that in Miami they fired a bullet into an all-night restaurant?
I haven't got any idea of what you're talking about at all, and that includes any operations by anyone of that name. I know that we worked with the Army.
Yes, Delta Force. Are you aware that it is highly dangerous to have helicopters at those low levels, especially that many in a small area?
I think what you need to do is to talk to people who have training in that area, and I would again refer you to the Army.
Okay, one of my last questions, and I do appreciate your time. Was there any money given to the city by the U.S. government to be able to carry out this exercise?
I think you would need to talk to our finance director on that.
Because the Chief of Police of San Antonio and the mayor talked about, again, the attempted bribery and the cash money gifts to people and things. That's why it really became a big stink. It was in their paper for quite a long time.
I can't comment on that kind of thing. I'd have no knowledge of it whatsoever, and I've referred you to who you need to talk to.
Hi. My name is Alex Jones from KJFK Radio in Austin. Also have a little TV show. How you doing? Is the mayor in today?
I'm not sure. You may want to check his office. It's straight in.
Is this the mayor's office or the city manager's office?
City manager's office.
Is he in?
Yeah, he is. He's on the phone right now.
Just like to ask him 2 or 3 questions.
Okay.
What's your name again, sir?
Carlos Lerma.
Carlos Lerma?
Yeah.
Well, it's good to meet you, city manager. We just like to ask you some simple questions. I hope you don't mind if I sit down. I'm very tired. I've been walking around talking to people on the street all day. We're just curious about Army Special Operations from Fort Bragg coming here, Delta Force. And we'd like just basically to ask some questions about was the public informed beforehand? Are y'all aware of the 10th Amendment and posse comitatus and things like that?
No, I'm probably not aware of the 10th Amendment, but I made the decision not to inform the public because we would have had thousands of people around this area here and would have been a lot harder to control.
Oh, I understand, sir. I wasn't trying to be sarcastic when I said it.
I didn't think you were. I didn't think you were.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly you are aware of the 10th Amendment, though. It's states' rights. And it's also, Posse Comitatus is concerning federal troops working with local law enforcement in any area is expressly prohibited. And I'm not accusing you of doing something wrong. This has been done in literally hundreds of communities. I don't know if they told you that you were the first when they came here.
They told me I was the first of some current events or current exercises that they're going to have.
But you chose, just so it wouldn't be a public health risk, just so it wouldn't endanger the public, to not tell the public about the operation that was held here Monday.
That's right.
We were told at a local grocery store, some people thought the bank was being robbed.
Well, the bank is very close to here, you know, and but the police were fully informed of it. They knew. As a matter of fact, they used an exercise to secure an area where we might have a hazardous material escape, like from the railroad tracks. We have trains that carry some materials that could be hazardous to you, and sometimes they have spills or an accident on the bypass. So they practiced an exercise to secure an area.
Oh, so local law enforcement actually worked with them?
Yeah.
Actually worked with
Special forces.
Special forces from Fort Bragg?
Yeah.
Delta Force?
Yeah.
Looking out your window and seeing unmarked helicopters and troops dressed in ninja black suits with assault rifles, it's kind of spooky.
Well, I agree with Mr. Sanchez, head of emergency management in Clyburg County and in the city of Kingsville. And he wasn't warned, neither was the county commissioner's court or the county judge about what happened in Kingsville. 4 days later, in part of Operation Last Dance, Port Aransas got a little visit, and the Mayor Glenn Martin, was not pleased.
Nobody wants to get in their business, but we ought to be able to answer questions, especially when they're, flying at dangerously low levels and alert the citizenry.
We contacted the mayor of Port Aransas, and in the Corpus Christi Caller-Times, he was also quoted as saying he was not warned of the impending raid. It can be termed nothing less than actual terrorism against the American people. By definition, terrorism seeks a political aim by scaring a population or a group of people. It's plain for all thinking people to see. America is in the process of a radical change, and I'm afraid to say it's not for the better. Alice, Texas was next on the list for Delta Force training. And one of my listeners on my radio program dropped by and talked to the police chief of Alice, Jack D. Compton. And what he found out was interesting. A very key piece of information came out. Foreign troops were involved in at least the Alice operation. You see, Jack D. Compton's comments didn't make much sense until about a month after Operation Last Dance, when Anniston, Alabama got a visitation by 800 Rangers accompanied by Russians. You'll find out later they actually turned the power off to part of the city because they felt like it. But let's go ahead and talk to the chief. Then we'll go and show you where Delta engaged in some of its training, literally 100 feet from a backyard where children were at play.
They need these trainings so specialized, and what exactly the qualifications are that they need to train so much.
In the event of any terrorist activity, these are going to be the men that address it. And they need to keep their skills honed to a razor's edge. They have to. And they don't have time, the luxury of time to plan an operation and go in. Can't plan it forever. They've got to make a move and make it fast. And so time is of the essence, and having their skills up to a high level is very important. But these are the people that you're going to call on for any of your terrorist activities.
But who are the terrorists? It's certainly not Bill Clinton giving all of our nuclear weapons designs and enabling systems to the Chi-Coms. No. It's people like the Davidians or Randy and Vicki Weaver at Ruby Ridge, Idaho. Yeah, we're the terrorist. We're the danger. We're the threat because we won't submit to total domination, total control, total slavery. Waco is a sterling example of this, the lies and corruption that were evidenced during their activities. Oh, but I forgot, we had to save the children. That's why we burned the 17 little children to death. Again, to save them from the terrorist, the deadly, dangerous terrorist, their parents.
Can you tell us some of the, not necessarily some of the specifics, but some just certain reasons why they need these trainings so specialized, and what exactly the qualifications are that they need to train so much?
In the event of any terrorist activity, these are going to be the men that address it. And they need to keep their skills honed to razor's edge. They have to. And they don't have time, the luxury of time to plan an operation and go in. Can't plan it forever. They've got to make a move and make it fast. And, so time is of the essence, and having their skills up to a high level is very important. But these are the people that you're going to call on for any terrorist activities.
Well, yes, these are the people we're going to call on for terrorist activities. Delta Force, BATF, FBI, hostage rescue teams. They're training on military bases as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. They trained back in '93 before the assault on the Waco church. That's right, it's not a compound. We need to get our priorities straight in this country and worry about our real national security risk, the real threats to our nation, like Bill Clinton, and the already forming global government that controls him. That's the crisis. That's the threat. Not our nation's people. Not American. Speaking of global government, let's go back and hear from Chief of Police in Alice, Texas, Jack D. Compton, as he admits foreign troops were on the ground during the training mission in Alice, Texas, during the terror mission in Alice, Texas. Make no mistake, that's what it's about. Again, training police, training the general public, training the military, that working together for national security is a wonderful thing. I'm here to tell you, historically speaking, it is nothing less than a nightmare. Governments are the most dangerous creations on earth that are man-made. We've also learned that citizens in Alice were told that if they came outside their yards during the training exercise, they'd be taken to jail. I mean, this is getting more and more insane. The Bill of Rights is being flushed down the tubes.
This government is training other so-called friendly countries, or?
They are training friendly countries, and I'm not at liberty to give you their names, but I know that they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's,
they were there in Alice, or a couple weeks ago.
There was some present, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't involved in the training itself. They were there on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just heard it. A police chief in a South Texas town, Jack D. Compton, saying that he's not at liberty to discuss information engaged in supposed national security operations. What a convenient umbrella for the unfolding police state. But there's one problem with that whole argument. Why are foreign troops in almost all of these exercises, according to my sources? Why are they allowed to see all this secret activity? But the American people, in many cases, aren't even warned in the name of national security, because people like Walter Szolskowski, spokesperson for Army Special Operations at Fort Bragg, has stated many times in many publications that, well, we can't let the public know because we have to protect our tactics. Oh, I see. The foreign troops aren't your enemy. You just got to protect your tactics from your enemy, and that's obviously the American people.
Can you describe how many, and describe also the helicopters that were there?
Well, the helicopters were Black Hawks. They came in blacked out. We didn't see them except for the skylight, and they were completely dark. And some of the Delta Force people rappelled down the ropes to the helicopter. I mean, from the helicopter to the top of the building. Some landed there on the ground in the parking lot of this building.
Was there any that hovered like above the building, and if so, how high?
Only long enough. Oh, they was probably around 75 to 100 feet, but they came down on the ropes, and so once they had ejected, the helicopters left and came back in a few minutes and picked them up. Mm-hmm. So they didn't go back up the ropes; they were picked up helicopters on the ground. noise level was not excessive. Because when you inside that brick building, the noises were muffled. You didn't hear a great deal. And the loudest noises didn't come from explosives. They came from what we call flashbangs. That's a distraction device that makes an excessive noise and a very bright flash. The charges they use to breach doors are just enough to breach the doors.
They were just coming and dropping off people and bombing and shooting their guns, and that's it.
They had guns?
Yeah, they're just practicing.
Like,
they had closed up all the roads and everything.
Mm-hmm. Did you see any men and what kind of uniforms they had on?
Nah, they didn't let us get out of our gates because if we did, they said we'll be arrested.
Did you see the Alice Police Department there?
Yeah, they had all the roads blocked.
So they were like working together?
Yeah, and the sheriff
was there?
Alice Sheriff Department.
The J.E. Poultry Company, an abandoned poultry plant, was the site of Delta Force training in Alice, Texas, literally smack dab in the middle of a residential area. As I said, where children were at play. You know, I wish I could say that these operations were just a blunder, a irresponsible activity on part of the Department of Defense. But ladies and gentlemen, it's clear it's being done on purpose. And don't forget Gracie. She lives in Casa Ricarda, a retirement home that was right across the street from the detectives building, the old detectives building in Kingsville. Old folks' homes, residential areas, all part of training the American people and police to accept visitations by black helicopters bearing armed men in black ski masks with automatic weapons. Again, Americans are being designated as the new threat. Not the Chicoms, not the Russians, not the socialists that are running this nation. They've taken over, my friends. Unfortunately, the strange military activities are not localized only in Texas. They're happening all across the nation and with increased frequency. Literally hundreds of so-called training missions terrorizing the public. You heard the police chief of Alice, Texas, tell us that, well, there were some foreign troops, but I can't talk about it. Well, the sheriff, Larry Amerson, sure talked about it from Anniston, Alabama. He wasn't told that 800 Rangers with a contingent of Russian troops were going to be visiting the Anniston Municipal Airport. They didn't even warn the public when they turned the power off, not by accident, but on purpose. Again, if this doesn't make it clear this is out-of-control psychological warfare upon the American people, PSYOPs testing, I don't know what will make it clear to you, America. This is a crisis of pandemic proportions. Imagine sitting down to have dinner, and suddenly the power goes off at 9 o'clock at night. A few minutes later, you hear automatic weapons fire. You walk outside, black helicopters, structures on fire. That's what happened at the Anniston Municipal Airport back in March of 1999. And again, the sheriff was not even notified, Larry Amerson. But our good friends, the Russians, oh, it was okay to tell them all about it. And they were even allowed to join in on the fun, the terrorizing of the American public. Thank you, Bill Clinton. Lest you think it's just special operations.
What you've just seen is part 4 of the video entitled Police State 2000. Please watch for part 5 in a future program. And please visit Alex Jones's website, Infowars.com, and learn more about the rising police state here in America. Ignore the Christ and pay the price. We're either going to live by God's laws or we are going to die by man's laws. think about that until next time. And until next time, may all your sunsets set right, and may the good Lord bless you both, day and night.
Fighting on the wrong side, but you haven't got a pressure on me.